Your soulmate's silence is hiding a choice you didn't expect. Don't scroll, just pause right here for a moment, because the fact that you're reading this now is not random, and this message is for you in a way your heart needs this right now, even if you've been trying to stay strong and logical. Listen to this carefully. The silence you've been experiencing isn't empty space, it's charged space. It's not distance, it's pressure. You felt it in the quiet moments when your phone doesn't light up but your chest feels heavy, when you tell yourself you're fine but something deeper knows there's more happening beneath the surface. Stay till the end, because this silence is not what you think it is. Your soulmate didn't go quiet because they stopped caring. They went quiet because they reached a decision point they never thought they'd face, and choices like that don't get made casually. They get made in stillness, in discomfort, in the kind of inner tension that forces someone to look at their own truth. Don't scroll away from this, because what you're sensing is real. Silence, when it comes from a soulmate, often means something is being weighed, not abandoned. You've been asking yourself if you should read between the lines, if you missed something, if you did something wrong, but listen to this part closely. This isn't about your worth. It never was. It's about their fear colliding with their feelings. When someone realizes that a connection is no longer optional, that it actually has the power to change their life, the instinct isn't always to rush forward. Sometimes the instinct is to freeze. That freeze is what you're feeling now. Your heart needs this reminder right now because you've been blaming yourself for a silence that was never yours to fix. While they've been quiet on the outside, there's been noise on the inside. Conversations they haven't had. Words they've rehearsed but not spoken. Scenarios they've played out in their mind over and over again. Listen to this. The universe doesn't allow real soul connections to fade quietly. It allows them to pause when a choice needs to be made consciously. And the choice hiding in this silence is bigger than you expect. It's not about whether to keep you in their life casually. It's about whether they're ready to risk comfort, ego, and old patterns to step into something real. That's why the energy feels heavy. That's why the quiet feels loud. Don't scroll, because timing matters here. While they've been wrestling internally, the universe has been working on you in a different way. You've been growing steadier, calmer, less reactive. You've been learning how to sit with uncertainty without letting it consume you. That wasn't accidental. That was preparation. Your heart needs this right now because you weren't meant to wait in anxiety, you were meant to stand in alignment. And alignment changes everything. You may have noticed signs appearing around you lately, not in moments of desperation, but in moments of stillness. Angel numbers like 1111 showing up when you're lost in thought, 222 when you question if you're enough, 444 when you're grounding yourself and choosing peace. Those aren't coincidences. Those are confirmations that something unseen is unfolding exactly as it should. Listen to this moment. The silence is hiding a decision, yes, but it's also hiding fear turning into courage. They are realizing that staying silent forever is also a choice, and one that comes with loss. And here's what you didn't expect. The choice forming inside them isn't about walking away quietly. It's about whether they're brave enough to step fully toward you and accept what that means. Accept responsibility. Accept vulnerability. Accept change. That realization doesn't come with instant action. It comes with pause. With hesitation. With silence. Don't scroll away from this truth. You were never meant to chase the silence. You were meant to observe it. Because observation puts you back in your power. This message is for you if you felt torn between wanting answers and wanting peace. The universe is guiding you toward peace first, because peace makes you unshakable no matter how the choice unfolds. Stay till the end, because this is important. If and when they break the silence, it will not sound like before. It won't be vague. It won't be half-hearted. It won't be confusing. It will come from clarity that was earned through discomfort. And you will feel the difference immediately. Not as anxiety, but as calm recognition. That's how you'll know this is real. Your heart needs this reminder right now because you may still be afraid that silence means rejection. But silence, in this case, means reflection. It means a soul standing at a crossroads, deciding whether to stay the same or evolve. And evolution is scary before it's liberating. Don't scroll, because this next part matters deeply. The universe has been strengthening you so that no matter what choice they make, you do not lose yourself. That's why you've been feeling more grounded lately, even while emotions rise and fall. You're no longer meant to shrink, overthink, or explain your worth. You're meant to remain present, aware, and open without attachment. That's power. And power changes outcomes. If they choose to step forward, they will be meeting a version of you who no longer tolerates confusion. If they hesitate longer, you will not crumble waiting. Either way, you are protected. Listen to this carefully. The universe doesn't hide choices to punish you. It hides them to prepare you. And preparation always comes before revelation. You are not behind. You are not missing anything. You are exactly where you need to be for what comes next. Don't scroll away from this knowing. If your chest feels tight but calm, if your breath feels slower, if something inside you feels steady even without answers, that's recognition. That's your soul understanding before your mind does. Stay with that feeling. Let it anchor you. And if this message resonated, if you felt seen, reassured, or understood, stay connected in this same aligned flow and subscribe, because the universe doesn't speak once and go silent. It reveals truth in layers, and the next layer is already forming. Don't scroll, stay right here with me, because the silence you're experiencing is no longer passive, it's active, and this message is for you in a way your heart needs this right now, even if you're telling yourself you've learned to be okay without answers. Listen to this carefully. There is a difference between someone being quiet because they don't care and someone being quiet because they care too much to speak without certainty. The silence you're feeling falls into the second kind. It's heavy because it's holding a choice that hasn't been spoken yet, a choice that's been forming slowly under pressure, reflection, and truth. Stay till the end, because what's unfolding here isn't about delay, it's about gravity. Your soulmate has reached a point where silence itself has consequences. What they don't say now shapes their future just as much as what they might say. And that realization doesn't come gently. It comes in waves, in moments when distraction fails, when comfort feels hollow, when their inner voice gets louder than the world around them. Listen to this. You may have felt a strange calm lately, even though nothing has been resolved. That calm isn't numbness. It's alignment. It's what happens when your soul stops fighting for clarity and starts trusting timing. And that shift matters more than you realize. While you've been learning how to sit with uncertainty without spiraling, they've been learning how impossible it is to outrun truth. Your heart needs this reminder right now because you spent so long thinking silence meant rejection, when in reality it meant confrontation, just not the kind that happens out loud. Don't scroll away from this truth. Inside their quiet, there has been constant movement. They've been replaying conversations they never had, weighing futures they never planned to consider, imagining outcomes that scare them because they feel real. That's what silence looks like when a soul is deciding whether to stay safe or step into something transformative. Listen to this moment closely. The universe often creates silence as a testing ground, not to test love, but to test courage. Angel numbers may have been appearing around you in subtle ways, not as loud signs but as gentle confirmations, 333 when you're reflecting, 555 when you're releasing control, 1111 when you're grounded and present. Those aren't meant to push you to act. They're meant to reassure you that something unseen is aligning. This message is for you if you've felt less urgency to chase answers and more strength in simply observing what unfolds. That's not giving up. That's stepping into power. Don't scroll, because the silence is also hiding something else you didn't expect: restraint. They are holding back not because they don't want you, but because they're afraid of saying the wrong thing before they're ready to say the right one. They know that once they speak, they can't return to pretending. Words would change the dynamic forever. And when someone realizes that a single conversation could alter their entire life path, hesitation makes sense. Your heart needs this reminder right now because you were never meant to carry the emotional weight of their decision. That weight belongs to them. The universe has been teaching you how to release responsibility for outcomes that aren't yours to control. That's why you've been feeling steadier, more rooted, even while emotions surface. Listen to this. The silence is not asking you to wait blindly. It's asking you to remain aligned. Alignment means staying true to your worth regardless of what they choose. And here's the part most people miss. The choice hiding in silence is rarely about leaving. It's about whether someone is willing to change. Change patterns. Change priorities. Change how they show up. That's the decision forming now. Stay till the end, because this is important. If they break the silence, it won't come with confusion. It won't be vague or half-formed. It will come with intention, because silence like this forges clarity. And if they don't speak yet, it doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means the universe is still allowing the internal process to complete so it doesn't have to repeat later. Don't scroll away from this knowing. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not powerless here. You are standing in a place of quiet authority, where you no longer need to demand answers to feel secure. Your heart needs this right now because you've reached a level of emotional maturity where you can hold space without losing yourself. That's rare. That's powerful. And that's why the silence doesn't control you the way it once did. Listen to this carefully. The universe didn't bring you this far just to leave you suspended in uncertainty. It brought you here so you could witness how silence reveals character. How pressure reveals truth. How choice reveals intention. And no matter how this unfolds, you will not shrink back into who you were before. You will meet whatever comes next with clarity, not fear. Stay with this energy. Let the quiet do its work without interpreting it as rejection. Because sometimes silence is the sound of someone deciding whether they're brave enough to become who love requires them to be. Don't scroll, stay right here with me, because the silence you're sensing has reached a deeper layer now, and this message is for you in a way your heart needs this right now, even if you're trying to convince yourself you're fine. Listen to this carefully. There is a stage in every soul connection where silence stops being about hesitation and starts being about truth settling into place. That's where you are. What feels quiet on the outside is actually loud on the inside for them. You may not hear words, but there is movement. There is tension. There is a decision taking shape that cannot be rushed without breaking something important. Stay till the end, because this phase is not meant to confuse you, it's meant to reveal something about timing, courage, and your own evolution. You've already noticed you're not reacting the way you once would have. You're not spiraling. You're not chasing explanations. You're observing. And that shift didn't happen by accident. The universe has been training you to remain steady while someone else faces their inner reckoning. Your heart needs this reminder right now because you spent so long thinking silence meant distance, when in reality it often means confrontation with self. Don't scroll away from this truth. When your soulmate went quiet, they didn't escape the connection, they walked straight into it internally. They began asking questions they avoided before. Questions like what happens if I speak and everything changes, what happens if I stay quiet and lose something irreplaceable, what happens if love actually asks more of me than I plan to give. Those questions don't get answered quickly. They require honesty, and honesty takes time when someone has built their life around avoiding emotional risk. Listen to this moment closely. You may have felt waves of emotion that didn't feel like sadness or longing, but like recognition, like something aligning without explanation. That's because on an energetic level, the dynamic has shifted. You are no longer reaching. You are anchored. And anchoring changes the entire field. Angel numbers may have been appearing when you're not thinking about them at all, moments when you're grounded in routine or reflection, numbers like 444 when you're stabilizing, 777 when you're trusting your inner guidance, 1111 when you feel present without expectation. Those are confirmations that you're not meant to act right now, you're meant to remain. Remain in your truth. Remain in your worth. Remain in your calm. This message is for you if you've started to realize that you don't need answers to feel secure anymore. That realization is powerful. Don't scroll, because this is where the emotional revelation deepens. The silence is hiding a choice, yes, but it's also hiding fear transforming into responsibility. Responsibility for feelings they can no longer deny. Responsibility for a connection they can no longer minimize. Responsibility for the fact that staying silent forever is itself a decision, one that comes with consequences. They are aware of that now. And awareness changes everything. Listen to this carefully. When someone realizes their silence has weight, they begin to understand that words are not just communication, they are commitment. Speaking means stepping into alignment or stepping away honestly. Either way, there's no going back to pretending. That's why the pause feels so intense. That's why the energy feels suspended. Your heart needs this reminder right now because you were never meant to carry the emotional burden of their decision. You were meant to grow strong enough that their choice does not define you. And you have. You've learned how to breathe through uncertainty without losing your center. You've learned how to sit in discomfort without collapsing into self-doubt. You've learned how to trust yourself more than the noise in your mind. Those lessons are protecting you now. Don't scroll away from this knowing. If and when they break the silence, it will not come with confusion. It will come with clarity forged by restraint. Silence like this refines intention. It burns away impulsiveness. It leaves only what's real. And if they don't speak yet, it doesn't mean the choice isn't forming. It means the universe is ensuring that when it does surface, it doesn't need to be revisited. Stay till the end, because this is important. You are no longer positioned as someone waiting to be chosen. You are positioned as someone who will recognize truth when it arrives. That's a very different place to stand. You will feel the difference immediately. Your body will tell you before your mind does. Peace instead of anxiety. Groundedness instead of urgency. Clarity instead of confusion. That's how you'll know whether the silence has transformed into courage or into closure. And either outcome will meet you in strength, not loss. Your heart needs this right now because part of you may still be afraid that silence is punishment or rejection. It's not. It's a crucible. A place where fear either hardens into avoidance or melts into bravery. And you are no longer required to influence which one happens. Your role now is to remain aligned, present, and honest with yourself. Listen to this moment. The universe did not guide you into this stillness to leave you powerless. It guided you here so you could see clearly without emotional distortion. Whatever emerges from this silence will not knock you off balance, because you are no longer balancing on someone else's response. You are standing on your own truth. Don't scroll away from this. Let the quiet finish its work. Because silence doesn't last forever, and when it finally breaks, it always reveals exactly who someone is ready to be. Don't scroll, stay right here with me, because what's happening now is the moment where silence stops being a mystery and starts becoming a mirror, and this message is for you in a way your heart needs this right now, even if you've been telling yourself you're strong enough to handle whatever comes next. Listen to this carefully. There is a point in every soul connection where the quiet becomes intentional, where it's no longer about confusion but about clarity forming under pressure. That's the point your soulmate is standing in now. The silence you feel isn't empty, it's concentrated. It's holding a choice that has weight, consequences, and truth attached to it. You've probably noticed that the silence feels different lately, not as sharp, not as panicked, but heavy in a thoughtful way, like something important is being measured. Stay till the end, because this is where the deeper pattern reveals itself. While you were learning how to stay grounded without answers, they were learning how impossible it is to stay comfortable without truth. And that lesson doesn't come quietly. It comes through restlessness, through moments of pause where distractions fail, through an inner voice that refuses to be silenced any longer. Your heart needs this reminder right now because you spent so long interpreting silence as distance, when in reality it was distance from themselves they were being forced to confront. Don't scroll away from this truth. Silence in a soulmate connection often means the heart has caught up with the mind, and the mind is scrambling to catch up with the consequences. They are realizing now that whatever they choose will change something permanently. Speaking will change the dynamic. Staying silent will change it too. And that awareness is what has slowed everything down. Listen to this moment closely. You may have felt a subtle emotional shift where the silence no longer triggers anxiety the way it once did. Instead, it feels like a holding pattern, a suspension where you're strangely calm. That calm is not detachment. It's maturity. It's you no longer needing immediate resolution to feel secure. And that maturity is what makes this phase safe for you. Angel numbers may have been appearing in quieter moments when you're not asking for signs but simply living. Numbers like 444 when you're choosing stability, 555 when you're releasing expectations, 1111 when you're fully present. Those are confirmations that the universe is anchoring you while someone else is being asked to rise to the truth. This message is for you if you've started to realize that no matter what they choose, you will be okay. That realization didn't come from giving up, it came from finding yourself again. Don't scroll, because this is important. The silence is hiding not indecision, but responsibility forming. They are beginning to understand that love is not just a feeling they can keep in the background, it's a choice that demands action, integrity, and change. And change is uncomfortable when someone has built a life around staying emotionally safe. Listen to this carefully. They are weighing the cost of vulnerability against the cost of regret. They are realizing that not choosing is also choosing. And that realization is heavy. That's why the silence feels dense instead of distant. Your heart needs this reminder right now because you were never meant to rush this moment. If it had unfolded earlier, it would have pulled you back into uncertainty. Now, it meets you in strength. You've learned how to sit with discomfort without collapsing into self-doubt. You've learned how to trust yourself more than the stories your mind creates. You've learned how to value peace as much as passion. Those lessons were not random. They were protection. Don't scroll away from this knowing. When silence finally gives way to words, those words will be shaped by everything that happened in this pause. They won't be careless. They won't be half-formed. They will either carry courage or they will carry closure. And either one will meet you in clarity, not confusion. Listen to this moment. You are no longer positioned as someone waiting to be chosen. You are positioned as someone who will choose whether what's offered aligns with who you've become. That's a powerful shift. That's why the silence doesn't own you anymore. You own yourself. Your heart needs this reminder right now because part of you may still fear that when the silence breaks, it will hurt. But hurt comes from uncertainty, and you are no longer uncertain about yourself. You know your worth. You know your boundaries. You know that love should not require you to shrink, wait endlessly, or doubt your value. Stay till the end, because this is where peace enters the story. The universe did not guide you into this stillness to leave you powerless. It guided you here so that when truth arrives, you can receive it without losing your balance. Whatever choice emerges from this silence will not undo your growth. It will reveal it. And that is the part you didn't expect. Silence was never meant to weaken you. It was meant to show you how strong you've become. Don't scroll, stay right here with me, because what's happening now is the moment where everything you've been learning about patience, faith, and self-worth finally comes into focus, and this message is for you in a way your heart needs this right now, even if you've been telling yourself you're fine either way. Listen to this carefully. The silence you've been sitting with has done its work. It has stripped away illusion, urgency, and fear, and what's left is truth, quiet, steady, unavoidable truth. Your soulmate's silence is no longer about confusion. It's about choice solidifying. You may feel it as a strange emotional stillness, like the storm passed but the air feels charged. That's because something irreversible is forming beneath the surface. Stay till the end, because this is the stage most people misunderstand, and misunderstanding it is what pulls them back into doubt. You are not in a waiting room anymore. You are standing on the threshold of clarity. While you were learning how to remain whole without answers, they were learning how impossible it is to stay comfortable without honesty. And honesty has a way of rearranging everything it touches. Your heart needs this reminder right now because there were nights you questioned whether the silence meant you were forgotten, whether love like this could really exist without proof. But listen to this truth. Real soul connections don't disappear in quiet. They deepen. They demand internal reckoning before external movement. And that reckoning has reached its peak. Don't scroll away from this. What your soulmate has been experiencing is not avoidance anymore, it's confrontation. Confrontation with the realization that the life they've built around emotional safety no longer fits who they're becoming. Confrontation with the awareness that staying silent forever would mean choosing comfort over destiny. And destiny is louder than comfort once it awakens. Listen to this moment closely. You may have noticed that thoughts of them no longer trigger longing the way they used to. Instead, there's a grounded awareness, almost like knowing the outcome doesn't threaten your peace anymore. That's not emotional shutdown. That's emotional integration. You've integrated the lesson. You've learned how to love without abandoning yourself. And that lesson changed the entire dynamic. Angel numbers may have been showing up in moments of neutrality, moments where you're not asking questions, just living. Numbers like 777 when you feel aligned internally, 222 when you trust without evidence, 444 when you feel anchored in yourself. Those are confirmations that you're no longer meant to react, you're meant to receive. This message is for you if you felt a quiet confidence replacing anxiety, a sense that no matter what they choose, you won't lose yourself. That confidence didn't come from them. It came from you. Don't scroll, because this is where power quietly takes its place. The silence is now forcing your soulmate to decide who they are willing to become. Speaking means accountability. It means vulnerability. It means change. Remaining silent means living with the weight of what was left unsaid. Either option carries consequence. And they know that now. That's why the silence feels heavy instead of distant. Your heart needs this reminder right now because you were never meant to carry the emotional responsibility of their courage. Courage is an inside job. The universe has been teaching you how to release control over outcomes while staying rooted in self-respect. That's why you're able to sit here now without panic. Listen to this carefully. When silence finally gives way to action, it will not feel chaotic. It will feel intentional. Whether that action is words spoken, a step taken, or a truth revealed, it will carry clarity. And clarity is gentle. It doesn't rush your nervous system. It doesn't confuse your intuition. You'll recognize it by how calm your body feels in its presence. Don't scroll away from this knowing. You are no longer waiting to be chosen. You are waiting to see whether what's offered aligns with who you've become. And that shift protects you from repeating old cycles. Stay with me here, because this next realization matters deeply. The universe didn't guide you into silence to teach you endurance. It guided you here to teach you discernment. Endurance keeps you stuck. Discernment sets you free. You can now feel the difference between fear-based hesitation and soul-based restraint. You can feel whether silence is hiding courage or avoidance. And when the moment comes, you will respond from wisdom, not longing. Your heart needs this right now because part of you may still be bracing for disappointment, expecting the silence to end in loss. But loss already happened in the form of illusion falling away. What remains is truth. And truth doesn't harm you when you're grounded in yourself. Stay till the end of this message, because this is where peace seals the lesson. Whatever choice emerges from this silence will not define your worth. It will reveal theirs. And you will meet it from stability, not fear. You will not shrink to be understood. You will not chase to be chosen. You will simply stand where you are, aware, aligned, and whole. Don't scroll away from this final understanding. Silence was never meant to break you. It was meant to prepare you for a moment where you no longer need answers to trust yourself. And that moment has arrived. Don't scroll, stay right here with me, because this is the moment where everything you've been feeling in silence finally resolves into understanding, and this message is for you in a way your heart needs this right now, even if you're trying to stay calm and detached. Listen to this carefully. The silence that once felt confusing has done its work. It has stripped away fantasy, urgency, and fear, and what remains now is truth in its purest form. Your soulmate's silence is no longer hiding uncertainty, it's revealing intention. Not loudly, not dramatically, but unmistakably. You may feel it as a quiet steadiness inside you, a sense that you're no longer bracing for impact, no longer waiting for the other shoe to drop. That's because the lesson phase has completed. You are no longer being prepared to endure the unknown, you are being prepared to witness clarity without losing yourself. Stay till the end, because this is where the universe closes one energetic loop and opens another. Your soulmate has reached the moment where silence is no longer neutral. They understand now that staying quiet forever would be a decision just as real as speaking up. That awareness changes everything. It brings responsibility. It brings honesty. It brings a reckoning with who they are willing to become. And here is the part you didn't expect. Their silence wasn't hiding indifference. It was hiding fear slowly transforming into courage. Courage doesn't arrive loudly. It arrives when someone realizes that the cost of staying the same is higher than the cost of change. That realization has landed. Your heart needs this reminder right now because there were moments you thought the quiet meant you were forgotten. You weren't. You were being preserved. Preserved so that when truth surfaced, you could meet it without collapsing into old patterns. Listen to this moment closely. You are no longer emotionally reactive to the silence because you are no longer emotionally dependent on the outcome. That is not loss of love. That is gain of self. You have learned how to trust yourself even when answers are missing. You have learned how to stay open without abandoning your boundaries. You have learned how to love without making yourself small. Those lessons were not easy, and they were not accidental. They were protection. Angel numbers may still be appearing around you, but now they feel different. They don't feel urgent. They feel affirming. Numbers like 1111 when you feel present, 444 when you feel grounded, 777 when you feel aligned without explanation. Those are not signs pushing you forward. They are confirmations anchoring you where you are. This message is for you if you've realized that no matter what happens next, you will not lose yourself again. That realization is the final initiation. Don't scroll, because this matters deeply. Whatever choice your soulmate makes now will not catch you off guard. You will recognize it immediately by how your body responds. If they step forward with truth, your nervous system will not spike. You will feel calm, clear, and discerning. If they choose to remain silent or step away, you will feel steady, not shattered. That is how you know you have crossed into emotional sovereignty. Silence no longer controls you because you have learned how to listen to yourself first. Listen to this carefully. The universe did not bring this silence into your life to test how long you could wait. It brought it to show you who you are without reassurance. And who you are now is someone who does not beg for clarity, chase recognition, or sacrifice peace for potential. You have become someone who can receive truth without fear. That is why this moment feels different. That is why the silence no longer hurts the way it once did. Stay with me here, because this next realization is everything. When the silence breaks, it will not be dramatic. It will be simple. Honest. Grounded. And whether it brings conversation, commitment, or closure, it will not undo your growth. Nothing can. You did not evolve to be tested again. You evolved to be protected. Protected from confusion. Protected from self-abandonment. Protected from repeating cycles that no longer serve you. Your heart needs this reminder right now because part of you may still be holding space for hope, but that hope is no longer fragile. It is rooted. Rooted in self-trust, not expectation. And that kind of hope is safe. Don't scroll away from this knowing. You are not standing at the edge of loss. You are standing in the center of power. The universe has balanced the energy. What was once uneven has been equalized. You no longer give more than you receive emotionally. You no longer carry weight that isn't yours. Whatever happens next will meet you where you are, not where you were. Listen to this final truth. Silence was never meant to confuse you forever. It was meant to refine you. It was meant to teach you how to hear your own voice above someone else's uncertainty. And now that lesson is complete. You are no longer waiting for a choice to define you. You are simply witnessing it. Calm. Clear. Whole. And that is the ending you didn't expect, but the one you needed. Don't scroll, stay right here with me, because this is the moment the universe has been quietly leading you toward, and this message is for you in a way your heart needs this right now more than ever. Listen to this carefully. Everything you've walked through up to this point, every unanswered question, every pause, every moment of silence that felt heavier than words, was not meant to confuse you forever. It was meant to complete something inside you. You didn't realize it at the time, but while you thought you were waiting on a choice, you were actually being prepared to stand steady no matter what that choice became. Stay till the end, because this final understanding changes how the entire story lands in your life. The silence you've been living with no longer holds power over you because you've learned how to hear yourself clearly within it. That's not something everyone learns. That's wisdom born from patience, self-respect, and spiritual growth. Your soulmate's silence hid a choice, yes, but the greater transformation happened in you while that choice was forming. Listen to this moment closely. You are no longer asking the universe to explain itself to you. You are trusting that whatever unfolds next will meet you in alignment or release you in peace. That shift alone tells you how far you've come. Your heart needs this reminder right now because there were times you felt like silence was taking something from you. It wasn't. It was giving you back to yourself. It was removing the version of you that waited anxiously, that overanalyzed, that doubted your worth in the absence of reassurance. What remains now is someone grounded, present, and emotionally sovereign. And that version of you cannot be shaken by uncertainty. Don't scroll away from this truth. The universe doesn't complete cycles halfway. When it brings you to this point, it's because the lesson has integrated fully. Whatever choice your soulmate makes now will not surprise your soul. You are no longer bracing for impact. You are standing in awareness. If they step forward with truth, you will meet it with discernment, not desperation. If they remain silent or choose a different path, you will not collapse into loss. You will feel closure without bitterness. That is strength most people never reach. Listen to this carefully. The final outcome was never meant to validate you. You were meant to validate yourself first. That's why this chapter took time. That's why the silence lingered until you no longer needed it to end for your peace to begin. Angel numbers may still appear around you, but now they feel like gentle nods instead of urgent signals. They're no longer trying to get your attention. They're confirming your alignment. This message is for you if you've noticed that your body feels calmer lately, your reactions slower, your intuition clearer. That's not coincidence. That's integration. Don't scroll, because this final realization matters deeply. Love that is truly meant for you will not require you to abandon yourself again. It will meet you where you are now, not where you were when you were still learning the lesson. And if this connection returns in truth, it will do so because both souls are capable of holding it without fear. If it doesn't, it will release you gently into something even more aligned. Either way, you are not losing anything. You are gaining peace. Listen to this moment. The universe never asks someone to sit in silence this long unless there is something sacred being built beneath it. And what was built here was not just a decision on their side, but discernment on yours. You now know the difference between love that feels uncertain and love that feels safe. You know the difference between longing and alignment. You know the difference between waiting and choosing. That knowledge stays with you no matter what happens next. Your heart needs this reminder right now because this is not an ending filled with emptiness. This is a completion filled with clarity. You are no longer defined by unanswered questions. You are defined by how you stand when answers finally come or when they are no longer needed. Don't scroll away from this final truth. Silence did not mean you were forgotten. It meant the universe trusted you enough to grow in the quiet. And you did. You grew into someone who no longer begs for certainty, someone who can love deeply without losing balance, someone who trusts their inner voice more than external noise. This is the final chapter of this cycle, and it closes not with drama, but with calm. With self-respect. With peace. Stay with that feeling. Let it settle. Because wherever you go next, whoever meets you next, will meet a version of you who knows their worth, honors their intuition, and never again mistakes silence for lack of value. And that is the ending the universe was guiding you toward all along.